Hey guys, how are you? It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Hope you're having a great day. All right, so I wanted to catch up about something, and I was actually thinking about this, and I was like, I've known about this for a minute, and I can't even believe we haven't talked about it yet. And then I was like, dude, I could do a video about this. Yeah, that was where my brain was at. Sorry, I haven't been streaming very much today because I've been thinking about stuff. But this is sort of juicy. So remember back in November, there was all this like excitement because there was like the forums like Reddit and Facebook pages and groups, and everyone was sort of chattering about there was something going on in Arkansas related to the Duggars. And as things started circulating, there was some questions about there could have been like the FBI or the HSI or something was going on. There was talk of Josh Duggar, of involvement with Jim Duggar. And then there was an announcement where HSI basically says to a local news story, KNWA, out of Arkansas, that they had visited a business of Josh Duggar's, and they had also been to the property of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, and that was it. There was all of this anticipation, there was all this buildup, like something was coming, what was going to happen. It got people talking again about Josh and what happened in 2015. Then there was some stuff about, Derek Dillard posted on his Twitter account and said, like, he started making comments about what's been going on with, counting on, TLC, a storm was brewing. Derek went into law school. Derek hasn't been quiet basically since all of this announcement. And he's been littering things out as we've been going, which had a lot of people speculating that maybe Derek knew what was going on. But interesting to note is that individuals that I've spoken to close to the family and sources within the area have all said that the Duggars are keeping pretty much everyone in the dark. Yeah. So they're acting like there's nothing going on, nothing to see here, nothing to know, not even disclosing it to their family or friends. Imagine that. It's kind of like their whole life, right? Imagine having something humongous going on in your life and all you're doing is just going about your business and filming for your show and talking about how joyfully available you are and how everything is, totally amazing. Nothing to see here. Nothing. It's totally fine. Everything's normal. This is my son Josh. He lives in our she shed out back. This is my daughter-in-law Anna and her 6 children. Oh, look at the baby. Cute. Let's do a new season. Let's not talk about anything that happened. So there's all this like speculation. The season 11 is coming out because Jeremy and Ginger dropped some hints, and now all these other outlets are picking it up that season 11 will be coming out. And then there's all this discussion about what's going to be on the season. And I honestly have to say, I doubt they're even going to touch it because not even family members or people that are connected to the Duggars know a damn thing about what's going on. Imagine being in this family and you have to find out what's going on with your family through the media. Yeah, because that's what's going on here. Because shortly after the HSI announces the investigation, Jim Bob and Michelle released this statement on their blog, which basically says, "We are not under investigation. They were not here. That did not happen. Nothing. This is fake news." But then everybody else was like, well, that's not what they said to KNWA. That's not what we saw. We saw those cars. And there was all this activity. Josh's car lot is still closed. He's still living in the she shed. How do you get around this if you're the Duggars? How do you keep this so quiet that not a peep is leaked out? Imagine something of this magnitude. I think of it similarly to the Chrisley family. There was discussion about, remember shortly in August, only a few days before an indictment came down, Todd Chrisley made a comment on Instagram, and then it snowballed from there. Like there was no more hiding. But there had been a long time of sort of whispers that things were going on. But he kept that very quiet too until boom, 12 counts. So some part of me is like, how did we find out so early on that nothing else has happened? And why are they keeping everyone else out of the loop? Like, what is going on? And then, because they're not very good at being transparent and they definitely are good at hiding things, what are they telling the producers on TLC? And because TLC, like, basically leaves everything out anyway, it makes you wonder, like, if it'll even be on the show. Probably not. What I have noticed is that Amy Duggar King on Instagram is continuing to distance herself from the family, basically pretending like they don't exist. Jill and Derek are continuing to distance themselves. And the interesting thing is that last week, Derek and Jill made this humongous statement, which I was looking through Derek's old Twitter account, and as of like just last fall, they hadn't even discussed homeschooling. They were or public school. They were still talking about homeschooling. So it made me think, like, is this decision now to go into public school a result of what's going on with the Duggars in relation to this investigation? Because I found tweets from him from last fall basically saying, yeah, we're going to homeschool. Now suddenly they're in public school. And you've got all of the kids doing their YouTube channels, and you've got them selling their stuff on Instagram. It makes you wonder, like, how controlling Jim Bob must be to keep this under wraps so that absolutely no one around this family knows a damn thing about what's going on. Not even TLC, not their family members, not their friends. And it makes me wonder what kind of message is being driven or discussed by the family, because the kids are giving us clues that there's something going on with the influencing stuff, with the uploads to YouTube, with, like, people are starting to make preparations, right? Like, something is about to go down. We need to have another source of income. We need to get this ready now because it's going to happen, right? You don't see family members that's been this contained and controlled to suddenly start going and venturing out. Jessa Duggar is, for all intents and purposes, under the thumb of her parents. She has really towed the line of the family because they have provided her a place to live where she basically doesn't have rent. She just has to pay the utilities. They have paid for a home for Josh, and they have paid for a home for Joseph, and they have paid for a home for Joanna and Austin. And so they have such control around these kids, so you're not going to get any information from them. And then the kids that they don't have control of, like Jill, she's just making decisions and choices that are completely contradictory to what's going on. The choice to go to public school is interesting for a few reasons because of what Derek said, but then it's also interesting because Jim, Bob, and Michelle were at a parenting, like, marriage retreat over the weekend, and they didn't say a dang thing about anything. They didn't like it. Their family members weren't really liking that she was sending them to public school. No comments from the family. And then their next upload on Instagram is a photo of Gideon for his second birthday. I can't. You got Josh breaking the rules by going to a wedding for people that are, like, apparently shunned by Jim, Bob, and Michelle. I feel like all these kids, in so many words, are doing things to show that they are like, you don't control us anymore, Daddy, Bobby, man. We have control of our own lives, Daddy, Bobby, man. But at what point do we finally find this out? The anticipation is killing me. And the fact that not even family members know what's going on tells me that something's going on. You know what I mean? Like, if you're hiding it from your family, you know it's big. Like, if you don't want anyone in your family to know what's going on, you're just, like, literally like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they're like, the cops show up at your house and they're like, with like 47 vehicles. And then, like, the entire, kingdom collapses. I'm still waiting, you guys. But I will say, I can for sure tell you that this is a family that's definitely trying to control the narrative, trying to ensure that nothing gets out. But I feel like subtly we're seeing more and more signs that the foundation is cracking. So TLC does a terrible job of actually giving us information, so we'll have to just depend on the locals. And the locals that have been around in the area today didn't tell me very much. There was activity at Jessa and Ben's house earlier today. Lots of cars were there, and then they suddenly were gone. Nothing to see here. Who knows? It could have been nothing. I just have lots of people that tell me things, and yet nobody knows anything. How weird is that? Jim Bob, what are your secrets? I want to know. Are you surprised that no one in the family knows? Are you surprised that the kids have not said a dang word? Imagine sitting on this kind of information and just keeping your mouth shut. That is some serious control. All right, you guys, I want to know what your thoughts are on this. Does it shock you that he hasn't told anyone? Or is it just like, yeah, Katie already knew that. Whatever. And what do you think is going to be on season 11? Tell me in the comments. Bye.